Homelessness in the United States by Melissa Toohey. When examining the role of an individual in a global society, we must take into consideration the diversity-influenced aspects of culture and the individual. Some of the aspects that we must look at include sociology of diversity, biological diversity, cultural identity, and diversity through socioeconomic status. How have social practices been shaped by issues of diversity in modern culture? Social practices have been shaped by issues of diversity in modern culture by having to evolve with the present issues of diversity. As diversity grows and changes, so must our social practices. Socioeconomic statuses in our modern society influences the way people are grouped together as well as how others look at them. There is a lot of discrimination present in our society depending on your socioeconomic status. How have issues of diversity influenced social change? The Affordable Care Act has been put in place in hopes of providing affordable health care for all. However, it is still very expensive for the majority of our population, especially those who are unemployed and homeless. As a nurse, diversity is ever present. One of the biggest issues I notice is that there are those who are privileged or oppressed due to their socioeconomic status, as well as biological diversity in regards to ancestry and inherited disease. The wealthy may be taken into the emergency room first due to the fact that they have insurance. Those who are poor, for example, the homeless, unemployed, or illegal aliens may be denied services in general, or may have less choice of where they can be treated. Modern society has been impacted by socioeconomic status, especially in the United States. In a country where everything is labeled and put into classifications, a person's socioeconomic status is no different. This has influenced society negatively by causing extreme oppression and privilege to those with more wealth as well as those in poverty. Benefits of overcoming issues of diversity include an increase in their income and opportunities, a rise in the economy if the homeless population is given jobs, and a decreased mortality rate amongst the homeless population. Challenges of overcoming issues of diversity include the fact that people have different thoughts and feelings on a variety of different issues, a lack of education on this topic, and the fact that change takes a long period of time to occur. For this project, I chose to focus on the homeless population in the United States, specifically in regards to disease and illness and their ability to receive health care. Homelessness has been an issue present in our society for quite some time, but has continued to rise. Changes in the economy, increasing costs, loss of jobs, and mental illness have given rise to this issue. Homelessness affects people of all ages, races, cultures, and backgrounds, ranging from newborn babies to the elderly. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, on a single night in January of 2014, 578,424 people were experiencing homelessness, meaning they were sleeping outside or in an emergency shelter or transitional housing program. It is very important to remember that the homeless are people just like you and I. They may have fallen into hard times, had no other option, or made poor life decisions, but they still deserve equal opportunities, including proper health care. It may be difficult to understand something when we are unfamiliar with it, but it is crucial to remember to treat everyone with the respect that you would like to be given. There are many health issues in regards to the homeless population. The National Healthcare for the Homeless Council states that living on the streets or in crowded homeless shelters is personally stressful and made worse by being exposed to communicable disease, for example, tuberculosis and respiratory illnesses, violence, malnutrition, and harmful weather exposure. Hence, common conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and asthma become worse because there is no safe place to store medications or syringes properly. Maintaining a healthy diet is difficult in soup kitchens and shelters, as the meals are usually high in salt, sugars, and starch, making for cheap, filling meals but lacking nutritional content. Behavioral health issues, such as depression or alcoholism, often develop or are made worse in such difficult situations, especially if there is no solution in sight. Injuries that result from violence or accidents do not heal properly because of bathing, keeping bandages clean, and getting proper rest and recuperation aren't possible on the streets or in the shelters. Minor issues, such as cuts or common colds, easily develop into large problems such as infections or pneumonia. Socioeconomic status is one of the biggest issues regarding the homeless, with the inability to afford housing, health care, medication, as well as proper clothing and supplies for the environment in which they live in. There is also a lack of education of prevention of illnesses and how to obtain health care. There is potential for change in the future if this issue is brought to more people's attention. By providing more education to the general public, as well as providing the homeless population with opportunities for housing and health care, there is potential to improve the issue of homelessness. Increasing free or affordable health care options and housing will decrease poor health conditions and illnesses. I believe that homelessness can be improved by offering more shelters, food, and clothing, more employment opportunities for the homeless, healthcare clinics, and more affordable healthcare for the homeless. Strategies for improvement include routine food and clothing drive campaigns, marketing of the food and clothing drive campaigns, TV commercials showing the hardships of the homeless, including illness, disease, and lack of health care, increased housing options and shelter, as well as job fairs. In order to implement this change, we will need an increase in free healthcare clinics staffed by nurses, doctors, and social workers. We need to provide education on prevention of illnesses, including oral health, exercise, and diet, to name a few. Food banks and food drives, in which the homeless will be able to obtain food with proper nutritional value, as well as increased housing options for the homeless, which may include shelters and housing projects. Benefits of this plan include more shelters and housing opportunities would ensure that the homeless are out of the harsh environment and into better living conditions. Routine clothing and food drives supply the homeless with proper clothing for the weather and nutritious foods that will reduce health issues. Also, employment opportunities provide a source of income to afford necessities as well as help pay for health care. Additional benefits include free health care clinics that would provide the proper care needed for those who cannot afford it, as well as affordable health care that would allow for everyone to access health care when needed, including preventative treatments as well. I strongly believe that the implementation of this plan will drastically improve the lives of the homeless population. The ability to receive proper clothing, food, housing, and health care will allow for the homeless to live a healthier life. I am hopeful that in the future, the homeless population will continue to decrease.